Welcome to Stillworks and Brewing. My name is Randy, and this is the channel that's all about home distillation and brewing. Okay, so what do we got going on today? Today what we're going to do is Bourbon 2.0. Alright, so I'll get into what all that means. But there is always something you can do for us that helps us out more than you can believe. Number one, if you haven't had that chance yet, please hit that subscribe button down there. That's a big help. Number two, you can hit that notification bell so you don't miss anything that comes out new. Share us with your friends. And if you like what you see, please give us that thumbs up. And last is leave a comment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Okay, you can do one of them, some of them, or all of them. Alright, so let's get ready. Okay, so what we're going to do, first things first, I have to say that bourbon is my most favorite spirit out there. I mean, I like all the different types of spirits, but I have to say that to me, bourbon is my go-to. Okay, so we've made bourbons in the past, and it turned out fantastic. I really enjoy it, but we can always make things a little bit better, right? So this is what I'm going to do. This is going to be called Bourbon 2.0. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit different than in the past. What I'm going to do, if you remember back a few videos ago, we did a corn liquor, and we used a toasted corn. Well, that taste of that toasted corn was fantastic, and I just couldn't get over that. So I always got to thinking, boy, this would make a damn good bourbon. Okay, so this is what's going to be a little bit different. We're going to use toasted corn in this recipe. I think you're going to find it out pretty darn interesting. Okay, so what we're basically going to use in this recipe is 10 pounds of the roasted corn. We're going to use 2 pounds of 2-row barley, and that's mainly for the enzymes. I could have went with 6-row, 2-row, okay? I'm going to use 1 pound of rye, and that's just going to be for that peppery taste. And then I think I'm going to use 2 pounds of a wheat, is a white wheat. And that's just, I'm hoping that's going to just smooth her out just a little bit. Okay, let's get started. Okay, so we got some water in our brew pot warming up. I'm going to warm that up to a boiling. That's our first step. The next thing we need to do is grind some of our roasted corn. Let's take a look at this. It turned out a nice orangey, kind of orangish color. Okay. So what I did is I put this corn, it's just regular corn from the mill or whatever. I spread it out on a coffee sheet like I did in another video. I'll put that card up here. And I roasted for an hour and a half at 350 degrees. Every 30 minutes I took the corn out, just gave it a stir, and then you seen it start changing colors, and the smell was fantastic. So first things first, let's get this ground up. So we will put it in our makeshift grinder we got here. This is a coffee bean grinder that somebody gave me. It actually works out fantastic. I just did a few modifications on it. So whatever way you can grind your corn. It don't do too bad of a job. I think it grinds it. That's a little coarser than cornmeal. Alright, so let me get this done and then I'll be back. Okay, so we finished up grinding our corn. That's 10 pounds of corn. I think I already told you that. I got me some boiling water in my brew pot, so I'm gonna pump me over. I'm gonna start with 3+ gallons, and then we'll start mixing our corn and see how that works out. All right, so I'm pumping over some boiling water. And then we'll start mixing this corn in. It's fogging up. So basically what we want to do is, this boiling water is going to cook this corn and hydronize it, gelatinize it, so that we can get the starch out of it. It's kind of ground up a little bit on the fine side, but not as fine as cornmeal. And like I said, this is that roasted corn and the flavor, ooh, fantastic. Alright, so let me see if I start mixing some of this in while the water's running. If I can't see nothing, I got a nylon bag in my mash tun to help, that'll help us out later. Like I've said in the past, this smell, if you can smell this right now, it's fantastic. You gotta just keep it well stirred so that it won't clump up on you. There's a quarter of it. I put about 3 gallons of boiling water in my mash tun. There's half of it. Corn can be a little bit trying to work with, but almost got it all in there. I'd move the camera over here, but it steams the lens up right away and you won't be able to see nothing anyway. But if you notice, it kind of looks like oatmeal. or grits, I guess. Okay, so let me finish stirring this up. I'll finish stirring this up and we'll put the lid on it and we'll let her sit for an hour and a half and try to hydronize that corn up. Okay, and then that'd be our next step. So I'll be back in an hour and a half. Every half hour I'd like to give it a stir. Let's check her out. It's been a half hour. I mean, you can see she's pretty thick. I mean, she's hydronizing, gelatinizing the corn up. Okay, so let's give her another half hour and we'll come check it out. I'm gonna check my temperature. It is 170, 171. Okay, so it's below 190. So what I can do, if you see how thick that is. This is a Sebstar HTL. It is an enzyme that is good for 190 and below, and it helps start breaking it down a little bit and thin that up so that when we go get it down to proper temperature to add our barley and all, it'll be a lot easier to work with. So I'm going to add a half a teaspoon in there. I'm sorry, half a tablespoon. Okay, give that a little quick stir. Okay, we'll let her do her thing. I'll be back. Okay, so it's been an hour and a half, and if you could see this, the Sebstar high temperature enzyme really broke down the starches, but it won't convert it over into sugars. So we still need to add in our grain to do that. So what we got is we got 2 pounds of a 2-row barley. So we'll get that mixed in. And like I said before, the main reason for that is we want the enzymes that is inside the thing. Oh, I forgot to tell you, I checked the temperature. It's down to 157. So that's why we're able to add in our other grains. Okay, I think that's that. That all stirred in nice. Alright, and then we got 2 pounds of wheat. Get that stirred in. And then we got 1 pound of rye, little pepper. And thicken her back up. Alright, let's check our temperature again. Well, we know it dropped by putting them cold grains in there. But it's still at 140, 149, so I'm going to leave it there. Okay, so that's 149. One last stir. Lid on it. And we're going to give that about an hour and 15 minutes or so. I'll come back in about a half hour, give it another little quick stir, cover it back up. So we'll be back. Okay, it's been about an hour and 20 minutes. Let's take a little sample. we'll double check and see if the conversion is taking place with a simple iodine test. Okay. Let me bring this over to you. Alright, so there is our sample, the drop of iodine. See, it does not go to black. It dissipates almost immediately and goes back to the original color. So that means the starch conversion has taken place. Okay, let me bring you back up. Okay, so that's a good thing. Let me put the lid back on this iodine before I spill it all over the place, because I'm good at that. Okay, and if you would notice, it is all liquid now. It is, it's almost all liquid. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to sparge this over into our fermenting bucket. Okay, so let me get this all sparged over, and what we'll do is we'll end up batch sparging it. So what that means is I'm going to drain this off, we'll mix some more hot water in with our grains, flush all them good sugars out into our bucket, okay? And then we'll be ready to move on to the next step. Alright, so let me get this over and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to check my specific gravity. And we are looking at 1.045, almost 5. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 1 bag of sugar, which is 4 pounds. And that should boost me up. So then we'll recheck. I like to get up to about 1.090. Now this is still pretty warm, so I should have no problem getting it to melt in. I'm adding 1 bag of sugar. You stir that for a second. Alright, let's see what we got now. We are looking at 1.080. Let me give it another second. Try that again. .080. I think I'm gonna leave it right there. Okay. The only other thing I'm gonna do is I want to check my pH. Okay, it's 6.04. I think that's a little bit too high. So what I'm going to have to do, if I can find it, I'll put in me maybe a less than a quarter of a teaspoon of citric acid. Let me mix that in. If we need to, we can add just a little bit more. Give that a good stir. Let me move you down so you can see what's going on. Is that better? $5.90. Okay, I'd like to drop it just a hair bit more. So, like I said, citric acid goes a pretty long way. So don't get too nuts with it. I think the first time I used it, I went way too much and had to bring it back up. $5.7. $5.5. I think I'm gonna just leave it right there. $5.5. Okay. Let's do our pH to 5.5. I think I'm gonna leave it right there. Next thing I want to do is check my temperature, which I think it's still going to be pretty warm, and it is. It's 1.2 or 129 Fahrenheit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the cover on this, put it in our fermentation room, let it cool off for a few hours, and then I will put a couple tablespoons of Daddy's yeast on that, and then we'll probably let it ferment a week to 10 days, 2 weeks. And we'll go from there. This ought to be some pretty fantastic bourbon. Okay. Okay, I did add another 2 pounds of sugar because I wanted to boost her up to about 190, 1.090 because I was just wanting to go after just a little more alcohol, just to yield a little bit more. I didn't think it would hurt. So I'm very interested to see what this bourbon is going to turn out like. It's a new recipe for me. So what we'll do is we'll finish this one out. If we want to make some more changes, we'll make changes. I'll let you know what changes we make. I'll put the ingredients to this down into the descriptions. What else? Well, so what I'll do is I got the fermenter in my fermentation room. Once it gets down below 90, then I will pitch the yeast and we'll let her ferment. So about 2 weeks we should be able to run this. So until then, there's only one thing left to say. Hey, thanks for stopping by and we'll see you next time.